Scottie Barnes has his heart in the right place. There's nothing wrong with him wanting to defer and let his teammates shine, but there are just times where he has to be selfish. He has to put his foot down and take charge. That is the thing holding this team back. If Scottie just understood that, understood his value, we all see it. He's up there as one of the top defenders in the league. And we see statistically that the reason why this team is in the position that they're in is because of their defense. Not their offense, it's their defense. Now imagine if Scottie showed the same commitment on offense that he is showing on defense. There might be some people saying, hey, he's got to score like the elites do, score 30 points a game, but I'm not saying it. There are other people that are not saying he doesn't have to score a ridiculous amount of points. He just has to show that he's engaged. Him being passive is putting the team at a disadvantage. They're playing 4-on-5. And we know the referees are always going to find a way to be a problem. So then it becomes an 8-on-4. He has to be engaged offensively. He can't shy away from that. And I'm not saying it has to be every game. Against the teams that aren't really a threat, doesn't matter. Let the bench guys come in and have a big moment. The bad teams, the middling teams, Scottie doesn't have to show that aggression against those teams. But against the top teams, against the elite teams, he has to be engaged on both ends of the floor. It'd be preferable if you showed that against every team so you could build good habits and not take anything for granted. But if in order for him to eventually understand his value is to build up to that point and take some games off so he can get accustomed to it, he can understand the importance of him scoring. Okay, take those games off against the subpar teams. I'm not suggesting that's the right thing to do, but if it helps him in the process, because those subpar teams, you don't need to play elite against them to win. And if he can show up when he needs to show up, okay, fine, play like that. But recently against Phoenix and against the Clippers, the effort's not there. Not just from him, but from the rest of the team. And I know the thumbnail says Scottie needs help. This is the help that Scottie needs to understand his value. He needs to understand his value. It's not just on the defensive end, it's on the offensive end too. He needs to show up. And the rest of the team needs to follow along with him and complement what he does. Scottie's scoring helps him open up everything else to being easier when it comes to all the other skills that he has to offer. Makes it easier. The passing that he wants to do, him backing away and giving the ball up, only makes it difficult for his teammates. They got to dribble and they got to exert all this extra energy just to make something happen. Scottie attacking the basket, getting dunks, layups, jump hooks, possibly drawing some fouls if the referees are actually being fair, allows for everybody else to breathe. Now the defense has to change. These opposing teams have to change their game plan because Scottie's engaged on both ends of the floor. And that allows everybody else to not have to exert energy. They can just be free and breathe when it comes to the offensive end. Now, when they're making their shots, there's a willingness to play defense. A lot of players that are only willing to play. It's been brought up. It's been brought up by NBA Chef. There are a lot of players that are willing to play defense because they're scoring on offense. Offense is the new defense. Chev said it yesterday, March 26, 2026. Offense is the new defense. Well, I'm co-signing that a day later. March 27, 2026. If anyone cares about my cosign. But Scottie's importance on both ends of the floor can't be overlooked. They're a middling offense. Scottie's a middling offensive player. Now they're not an elite defense. They're a good defense, but Scottie is a major reason why, because he is an elite defensive player. And if you can get Scottie to buy in offensively, it opens things up for everybody else. They get to breathe. Their shots start to fall because they're not feeling that pressure. And then they're more engaged defensively. Now everybody's engaged. Scottie being engaged creates the opportunity for everybody to be engaged on both ends of the floor. Everybody has to follow Scottie, and the coach has to play his role in acknowledging that is what needs to be done, and the game plan the adjustment needs to be made. The rest of the league has made the adjustment to how this team is playing. So now the adjustment needs to be made for Scottie to attack and open things up for everybody else. Now these teams have to make an adjustment to the adjustment. They have to, and they're not going to do anything because they don't want to play defense. You can attack them. They're not going to do anything. They're going to try and cheat. They've been cheating. They are only winning because you are not making a commitment, Scottie. You are not making the commitment. You being the guy, you're not making a commitment. You, the one individual who is shying away from his responsibility. Yeah, we can try and dress it up and make it seem like it's a good thing. Like, oh, Scottie's willing to help his teammates out. No, that's just dodging responsibility. You're running away from the money that you're being paid. You want the money, but you don't want to live up to the responsibility of that money. And if you continue to do that, this team is not going to advance at all. You need to show commitment on both ends of the floor. Because these teams are not going to make the adjustment afterwards. Once you show that you're willing to score, and again, it's not about Scottie trying to score 30 points and be one of the elite scorers. It's about Scottie showing a commitment to be engaged on both ends of the floor. That commitment is enough. Scottie can still finish with 20 points as long as he showed that commitment and the willingness to establish the pace of the game, to establish control, to be the one leading things. Again, middling offense, he's middling offensively as an individual player. The defense is not elite, but he's a big reason as to why. The defense is why they're in this position, not their offense. If you can get Scottie to commit, understand the value of him scoring and how it helps his teammates. It does not hurt them. It helps them. This team is going to be a problem. This team is going to be a team that no one wants to play against. All you need is the experience to be able to understand pacing. And then you're good. That's the only thing separating you from the elite teams is the experience. Once you eventually get that, these other teams are going to be too old. Guys are going to move around. They're not going to be there anymore. And then you're going to be at the top. And you're going to be at the top for a long time if you understand yourselves. That's the help Scottie needs, is to understand his value, his importance to the team on both ends of the floor. It makes life easier for everybody else. I'm not the only one saying this. I'm not the only one who sees this. That's his value. That's the lesson that he needs to learn. He is way more valuable than he's displaying to the rest of the world. And then he believes. I don't know if he believes how that. I don't know what the level of belief is towards his style of play or lack thereof in certain areas. I don't know what his belief is, but he should have that belief that he is important. Everybody sees it. This team is not there offensively, even though we have the supposed guy for us offensively in Brandon Ingram. He's supposedly supposed to be the guy, and RJ is also aggressive, and Quickly is also aggressive, but they're middling. Let's see what a Scottie who is aggressive like he is on defense. Let's see what he is as an aggressive offensive player. Again, you don't need to take step back threes and dribble the air out of the ball and do all these fancy crossovers to create space. No. Play off the ball, cut, come off of screens, position yourself in the paint where you are most deadly. Scottie should be near the basket and as close to the basket as possible and as far out as the free throw line. He doesn't need to be standing behind the three-point line. I know I'm sounding repetitive and this video's dragging on for too long, but the point is, I'm going to keep repeating it. Scottie needs to be aggressive. He is the guy. It's not just because he's getting paid the money. No, we see it. Him being an elite offensive player has his team being a good defensive team. Now, let's see the commitment offensively. If Scottie being engaged, he doesn't have to be elite, but be engaged offensively. Be willing to score the basketball. Do not leave your teammates out there hanging. Be committed. Make it a 5-on-5 and force the referees to have to be on your side. So the 8-on-5 can be in your advantage. I don't want the 8-on-5 to be in our advantage. I mean, the advantage really is make it a fair game so we can fairly criticize the players when they're messing up instead of us having to turn to the referees for a bailout when it comes to issues going on with the team. Just please, Scottie, you need to understand your value. It's not just there defensively, it's there offensively. And it'll make everybody else's life easier if you show the same level of commitment on offense that you do on defense. Please. I think I've droned on long enough. I hope the point has gotten across. I really hope it has, because there is no reason to keep playing around. The effort has to be there too, because the effort against Phoenix and the Clippers, the effort. Show the effort. Show that you care. Because I'm going to end it off with this. I am questioning as to whether or not you, not just you, Scottie, but the rest of the guys on this team and the coach and the front office, I'm questioning if you actually love this game. Because if you did, you wouldn't be taking things for granted. You wouldn't be taking forever to catch on and realize what the issues are and make the necessary adjustments. I'm questioning it because this hurts. This hurts, and it shouldn't hurt. But it hurts because I'm being told that these are the best players in the world and blah, blah, blah. Look at all the money that they're being paid, and you guys are not living up to it. And I really hope that this is just a lack of experience. It's just the lack of experience, and you're going to figure it out. But I would like to see, because we've seen it. We've seen it. The glimpses of greatness. But we want it to be consistent. And you got to show that love for the game. You got to show that commitment. You got to show the effort. So I think that's all I got to say for the time being. If you got anything to add in the comment section, add it, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.